So I just learned from a lot of practice that you can't read a script to make a YouTube video. So that really sucks because I wrote down everything I wanted to say, and no matter how much I tried, when I'm looking down at the computer like this, you can tell I'm not looking at you, and it looks fake and it's bad. So basically, I can't read a script. I have to tell you everything just like this. If I forget something, I'm gonna look stupid, but whatever. The reason I decided to do a YouTube video is because you live 3.5 hours away, um, and I'm speaking to you, Carol, my mother, in case you don't know. You live 3.5 hours away, and I've written you letters, I've sent you emails, and you can't hear my tone. You can't understand where I'm coming from when you read those letters. I've talked to you on the phone, but all you hear is my voice. You don't, you know, see my facial expressions. You can't really know, you know, what I'm saying, and it's hard for me to articulate my thoughts when I'm speaking. I get nervous and I forget my vocabulary. But when I'm writing, if I don't even know the definition of a word, I can go to thesaurus.com and come up with something that I don't even use in my normal vocabulary, so I can sound smart. So writing is a lot easier than speaking, but apparently in order to have this conversation, I think that we need to speak to each other. And you might not know how to use YouTube, that's fine. I'll just speak to you, and hopefully you'll get it. Hopefully we can engage that way, and it'll be productive for both of us. Um, and hopefully someday other people can see the video and think, wow, maybe we can use that approach, or maybe we can help other families if we, come to a better place. If we don't come to a better place, then I guess I won't post these on YouTube because what's the point? Anyway, um, that's why I'm doing the YouTube video. So, the backstory, which we already completely know, but just in case anyone's watching this, the backstory is that, Mom, you are a deeply spiritual person. You believe in Jesus Christ as your personal Lord and Savior. God comes first. Everything in your life begins and ends with God. You understand God by reading the Bible. You relate to God through prayer. Um, and you taught me as a child, you homeschooled me and you taught me and grew me up in the church, that how I should relate to God is through prayer and through reading the Bible. And generally, how I approach God does involve prayer and reading the Bible. Um, the Bible is not something I read every day. I can't say, that's part of one of my habits, but when I do read the Bible, I do feel a connection to God. It's probably different than the way you feel it when you read the Bible because we probably read it differently. But I think that however you experience God, what matters is that you are experiencing God. So there's no good or bad way to do it if it happens. Let me start this music back. Here comes as the dear panda. Okay, here comes again music. So anyway, um, we've already had the phone conversation, decided we're gonna work on this together. So, um, you love the Lord, you read the Bible, but even though you're a very unique person and no one can replace you, you do fall in line with what most people would call a conservative or a fundamentalist view of Christianity. Um, and in that view, it is taught and understood that the term homosexuality is incompatible with Christian teaching, and that teaching is derived from the Bible, which is God's holy word, given to his people who choose to follow him. The reason that I used the word homosexuality in air quotes is because what you think of and understand when you hear the word homosexuality is probably very profoundly different from what I understand it to mean, because I am homosexual and you are not. So whatever word association you have with homosexuality, whatever thoughts come to your mind, are 99%, I'm 99% sure that it's completely different from how I see the term. So that's why I say homosexuality because there's a good chance that we're talking about two different things, even though we're using the same word. Um, but as I was saying, your Christian, your conservative, fundamentalist Christian view comes from a place that sees the term homosexuality as incompatible with being able to go to heaven. That's where your ethical dilemma comes in because God is first, everyone and everything else is second. I'm your child, and the relationship between a mother and a child is very significant. And everyone says that there's nothing like the relationship and the bond between a mother and child. So it is the ultimate ethical dilemma for you, a devout Christian, to be faced with this paradigm that seems to be saying that you have to make a choice between God or your child. What could be scarier than that? But what I would like to show you, if I can, is that maybe there's another paradigm, and it isn't a choice between God, and it isn't a choice between your child. Maybe there's a different perspective, a different way of looking at this, where you will not see a mutually exclusive choice. You will see a full picture the way God sees it, perhaps, if that's possible for human beings to see it that way. And it won't be a conflict anymore. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping to show you a different view that does not create an ethical dilemma for you, that still respects everything that you believe, that still respects God, and still respects the sacredness of the Bible. I believe it's possible, and I'm willing to show that to you. Of course, my dilemma, is that I feel your love, but I feel that it's not the type of love that I yearn for. I want a mother who loves me, and I feel that when you look at me, you see Drew over here, and you see homosexuality over here, and they're mutually exclusive. They're two different things. You're dichotomizing me to be separate from my full self. And what I'm always been trying to tell you is that homosexuality and Drew Murray are not two different things. We're the same thing. And it's not something you can separate because my sexuality is intertwined with me. It's intertwined. You can't separate it. And if you try to take a knife and carve out my homosexuality, I think if you were able to do that, if you were able to go to the atomic level and carve out everything that is either associated with my sexuality or is affected by my sexuality, you would end up with soup. And what this soup would be not something that you would ever look at and say, that is a human being, because it would not be a human being, it would not resemble a human being. But if there was a way that you could take that knife and carve out every aspect of everything that was associated with my sexual orientation, what you would have left would be someone or something, and it wouldn't be your son. It wouldn't have the creativity that I have. It wouldn't have the compassion for people who are cast out of society that I have. It won't have the desire to create beauty and art in the world that I have. It wouldn't have the intellect and the yearning for knowledge that I have, because I wouldn't have any reason to search for knowledge. I wouldn't have any reason to look beyond the shallow and look for something deep. So what you would have would be something. I don't think it would be called human, because you can't separate sexuality from humanity and it still be a human. But what I think you would have would be Frankenstein, a human that isn't really a person. And I think you would be very disappointed, and you would miss your son. So let me get the music back. Ding, ding, ding. I think that you would miss your son, and it wouldn't be what you think it can be. So I'm here to tell you that it's all me. I'm the full package, and I want you to see that, and I want you to love that, and I want you to love me not in spite of my homosexuality, but because of it. I want you to see how it makes me beautiful, and how if it wasn't for that thing, I would not be who I am. I want you to see that and cherish it and be thankful for it. I I want that type of love from my mother and nothing less. And that's my dilemma. So I think I've probably gone over the 10-minute limit that YouTube tries to enforce. So I'm going to end it here. I've explained your dilemma, I've explained my dilemma, and hopefully we can start from here and go in a forward direction and eventually come to a place where we can respect each other and know that we've given it our all. And hopefully, after we've given it our all, we'll be in reconciliation with one another. I'm doing this because I love you, and I know that you love me, and I believe that there is hope. That's why I'm doing this.